From babies being born with teeth to charcoal toothpaste to some guy who decided to change his own braces. We got some crazy videos today, and trust me, they get even crazier. But let's go ahead and start with the first video of the day, which is a baby who popped out the womb with some teeth in her mouth. I know you guys tagged me a ton in this, and you want to know what the heck was going on. So let's go ahead and get right into our first video. Holy moly, look at that baby with teeth. Somebody in the comments actually said, that baby's not premature, that baby's already mature. And somebody else said, that baby's British. I don't even know what that means. Does British people have teeth when they're born? I don't know. But further, you guys tagged me in this a ton, wondering, Bentist, what the heck is going on? Why is this little baby fresh out the press, got baby teeth already in their mouth? And there's an interesting answer to it, so let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing that we need to note is that we have two sets of teeth. We have our baby teeth, and we have our permanent set of teeth. Another thing that's important to note is basically the order in which they all come in. So our front teeth actually come in first, followed by like our premolars and molars, and then actually the canines are kind of last, and then our 12-year molars and 18-year molars and all that type of stuff. And so the reason why that's important, because this baby has teeth a little bit early. Now, when you look at the development of a tooth actually starts as what we call a tooth bud. It's a little tooth bud there, and it actually sprouts almost like a plant and becomes a tooth. Now, normally this happens like, months into the baby being born before teeth start popping up, and that's why we have babies that have teethers and all that type of stuff, because it breaks through. But sometimes genetically something will happen to cause those tooth buds to grow too quickly. Now, we also see this where tooth buds don't grow at all. That's called hypodontia, and we also see when you have too many tooth buds sprout, that's hyperdontia, or extra teeth. And in this case, this is what we call natal teeth. And natal teeth is where those teeth just sprout and they go crazy early. And when you're born, they're already formed. Now, a couple things about natal teeth. A lot of the times, they're not really fully formed. If you actually look at the picture there, they're kind of a darker color, and that's because the enamel hasn't really properly formed in it. Because remember, this is not normal for these things to be happening this quickly. Another thing that we see is they're very loose, and a lot of the times they don't have the periodontal ligament, which is the thing that holds the teeth into the bone there to keep it sturdy. And so a lot of times what we do in this case is the dentist or doctor will actually just take them out, because they're pretty loose and they will just most of the time just come out. And another reason is for my mamas out there, when you're doing the thing, giving them some milk and stuff, you don't want chompers clamping down on you to cause a bunch of pain. And funny enough, I believe, actually, let me look it up real quick. In cultures like England and France, they were actually seen as good fortune and even a potential for greatness if you had natal teeth. Now, that being said, I am looking that if you have it in China or some parts of Africa, it was viewed as a bad omen or a sign of misfortune. So maybe hope that you are in England or France if your baby has natal teeth like this, because then it'll be some good luck. Now, in this next video, we got a girl who has some issues going on, and she rang me up and said, Bentist, what the heck is going on with my mouth? There's stuff going on and I just don't understand it. So let's go ahead and watch that video, and then we'll figure out exactly what's mysteriously going wrong with this lady's tooth.
Is this normal? Is this normal? Every time I use the water flosser, this happens. Is this normal?
I can tell you one thing right now, that's not normal. Well, unfortunately, actually, it is kind of normal because, well, gingivitis, periodontal disease, things like that is actually really prevalent. So it is normal, but it should not be normal. Now, the first thing that a lot of people in the comments are actually hinting at here, and that's actually kind of rude. Someone says, I don't know, Steve Harvey, they a little thick. Never understood why this generation's into a denture trend. Okay, so first off, what they're trying to get at is that these look different than normal teeth. And why is because this girl actually got full veneers. They're not actually dentures. This girl more than likely probably went to Turkey or someplace like that, got all of her teeth shaved down, and got these veneers stuck on every single one of their teeth. Now, if you don't know, veneers are actually shaved down and then you put the full cap on there. Could be a crown, could be a veneer, I don't know. Could be a composite veneer, something stuck on the top of the teeth. Regardless, when they did it, the normal shape of her teeth has now increased in thickness and got bulkier. And so if you look at her teeth, you can actually see kind of they're bigger, bulkier, and they're very white, which tipped me off that these are fake teeth. Now, one of the things that I see all the time with these things is what we call veneer gums or veneer breath and things like that. and that is where you see these kind of puffy gums all the way around here. And you can actually see she's kind of got that glossy, really kind of puffy gum around her margins or the edges of her tooth. Now, what that shows me is that she's falling into gingivitis, or the unhealthiness, inflammation of the gums, which is why everything is bleeding just from her polishing with a little water flosser in between, because a water flosser should not be causing bleeding unless you have an active infection going on, which is gingivitis. Now, the reason this happens is because obviously they're bulky, so it's pretty hard to clean, and it irritates the gum tissue and stuff. But then also because these people, when they get fake teeth on their teeth, they all of a sudden think, oh, well, if it's covering my real teeth, I don't need to brush them because, well, they're not real teeth, so I don't need to brush them or take care of them or floss them. When in fact, you should be doing it even double or triple as much, because you don't want to ruin, obviously, the teeth, because the roots are still there, the gums are still there, everything like that. And also you have what's called a margin on a crown. Now, the margin is where the crown meets the actual tooth, and sometimes that margin's not perfectly sealed. And so if you let food, gunk, nastiness stay up in there, it has a chance to go up inside the crown and reinfect the tooth. Now, not all is lost yet, but what this girl needs to do to make sure that she's basically taking care of everything is she actually needs to brush and floss more. In fact, seeing the red stuff come out of her gums and tissue is indicating that presence of bacteria, inflammation, and infection. And so she needs to keep brushing, flossing, and water flossing twice a day, even rinsing out with whatever you need to do until that stops bleeding. And then she'll one day see, a week from now, 2 weeks from now, that when she does all those things, her gum starts to tighten up and look better, cleaner, healthier, and the red stuff stops coming out, and she has that health that she's always looked for. So basically the moral of the story is, one, just don't get veneers. I always tell people, if you got teeth that you like and you like the shape of them, just go get braces. If you absolutely hate the look of your teeth and you have to get veneers because you need to change the shape of them, that's fine. But when you do get them, make sure you take extra care of them, because they're already damaged and you don't want them to get reinfected again, because then you might lose the tooth completely. And that's the last thing that we want. But you know what's crazier than going to a dentist and getting all your teeth shaved off is actually just doing it with some sandpaper. That's right. What if I told you that some people out there are taking sandpaper and just ripping their teeth off with it every day? But that sandpaper might not look like what you think it is, and you may have some using it right now in your house. Then you don't even know that it's bad for you. So let's get into our next video.
Day 2 of whitening my teeth with charcoal, and I think it's starting to work. So an unexpected thing whilst doing this experiment is I now have black snot when I blow my nose. I think this is because the powder's very fine and I must have accidentally inhaled some.
Oh my gosh, what in the venom do we have going on? My man's possessed. But no, what you're seeing here is not venom bile coming out of his mouth. This is actually charcoal toothpaste or charcoal powder, and this is what I'm talking about. This is actually the same as just taking a bunch of sandpaper powder, rubbing it off, and then throwing it in a thing and saying, hey, just put this on your teeth and just rub it across your teeth. Now, you wouldn't do that to yourself, would you? No, because that would be insane. But what if I told you this charcoal toothpaste does the exact same thing but stains your mouth? So let's keep watching him go into this, but this is actually terrible for your teeth. We'll get into it here in a second. Let's continue.
It's a pretty messy method. If you guys are going to try this, be prepared
Oh
for
my
a lot of
gosh,
cleaning.
look at his
I've
mouth.
got dry charcoal stuck at the back of my throat.
Okay, now obviously you're looking right now. He looks like one of the singers from Kiss right now. Now this is the other thing I never understood about charcoal toothpaste users. In turmeric and coconut oil, it's like it clogs your sink, it gets everything yellow, it gets everything black. Like, why can't you just do the non-messy good stuff that works? But anyways, this is another reason why I absolutely hate charcoal. Is what they think is that activated charcoal takes the toxins and pulls them out of the tooth and causes it to be white. But no, charcoal is just an abrasive, a very highly abrasive. And in fact, a lot of people want to whiten their teeth. And the crazy part is people were noticing that charcoal toothpaste or charcoal powder was working really well, and their teeth were magically getting shades whiter really quickly. Now, that is because it's literally ripping off the enamel from the teeth. That's why it's working. Now, the problem is if you whittle down that enamel layer far enough, you go into what we call the dentin layer, which is the inside layer of the tooth, which is yellow. And when you have that yellowness shining through, you're actually going to have a yellower teeth appearance. Not only that, but you will have a massive amount of sensitivity to your teeth because you no longer have that enamel outer layer of protection. This is why we tell people to use whitening strips with hydrogen peroxide, all that. You know, in fact, that's why we did our whitening strips. And you don't have to buy ours. You can get any hydrogen peroxide whitening strip on the market that you want. Ours is a little 10%, and we have some cool stuff added in. to it, so if you're interested in that, you can check it out at somethingnicecompany.com. But regardless, back to what we're talking about. Hydrogen peroxide goes in and actually cleans and whitens the teeth without damaging the enamel. This is great, but charcoal toothpaste and any highly abrasive thing like this does not. So this is absolutely a bad thing to do, but let's see if he had any effects.
It's going to be the last day of using this stuff on my teeth, so check back then if you want to see the before and after. Although I've got to be honest, I am already seeing a bit of a difference.
Yes, you are seeing a bit of a difference because it's literally ripping the stain off of your teeth. You know, if you just absolutely had to use charcoal toothpaste, I don't know why in the world you would want to subject yourself to that. Please do it like once every month. Don't do it every day, because that is insane. Actually, in my offices, you know, 5-6 years ago when I first broke this story that this was terrible for you, I just noticed all these kids were coming into my office with sensitivity, and everybody was like, ooh, cold would touch them, and they'd be like, ah, doctor, I can't even stand lukewarm water, it's so cold. And then finally I started asking them what the heck was going on, what toothpaste they were using, because sometimes you have chemical reactions with toothpaste and it causes sloughing or weird stuff like that. And so they all said this new charcoal toothpaste, and every single one of them with the severe sensitivity had charcoal toothpaste, and we had to get them on a bunch of like remineralizing fluoride. Now we have nanohydroxyapatite. But please, guys, if you want to do whitening, use hydrogen peroxide whitening strips or gels. Do not use charcoal toothpaste. It is absolutely terrible for you, and you can't make that mistake. Now, doing a bunch of things to your teeth is bad enough, but what if I told you there's people out there doing their own braces? That's right. Or actually, technically, they put the braces on, and then now the kids at home are trying to do their own thing, because you know what you guys love? You love colors on your braces, okay? And sometimes you just don't want to wait to the next doctor appointment. So we have this one young, fine gentleman here who decided he's going to try it out himself. Now, we're going to watch him, and we're going to rank him and see whether he's done a good job or not.
Changing my braces color, but by myself. My orthodontist is gonna kill me. So I don't know if you guys...
Okay, now first off, yes, your orthodontist might kill you, but let's think through here on what actually would change. Obviously, you know, I'm not gonna lie, as long as you're choosing a color you have at the office, they may not even know, because what he's got on his teeth, if you can see from the beginning, are what we call O-ties. Now, O-ties are the things that hold the wire in old school bracket systems. And this is fine and dandy if you have old style braces, but if you have newer style braces with the doors, it won't quite work. We'll get into that in a little bit, but let's see what he does, what tools he's using, or if he harms himself. This could be good.
You guys know, but I've had braces for like 6 months now, and I've only ever got them changed by my orthodontist. I've never done it by myself before. And so far I've had teal, purple, grayish, loads of other shades of blue.
First off, those are great color choices. For my peeps out there wanting white teeth, make sure to choose like darker colors, like a teal, a navy blue, things like that. Avoid like red, brown, green, and yellow. Those tend to make your teeth look a little nasty and gunky. So it looks like he's at least choosing good colors so far.
This I bought, so today we're gonna change
Okay,
it.
so he's got a little kit.
Yeah,
You literally can buy kits.
So there's 2 tools, and my orthodontist always used this.
Okay, so we do have a little hemostat here, which is to kind of grab, to put them on actually, which is very actually needed. If he doesn't have that, he's not getting them on there, because it is, you have to like put them on and then drag them down, up, over, and you do kind of like this figure 8 motion to get them on. And then he's got a scaler to take them off.
Bro, I'm just looking over this. Obviously, my orthodontist is going to use the right equipment.
And then I've got all of these colors.
Oh my gosh, you got a lot of colors.
All of these colors. Bro, this is gonna be so long to put back in the bag. Why did I do that? Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what color I'm gonna choose. I think I might just randomly choose it. Okay, in 3, 2, 1.
Let's see which one he chooses.
Green?
Not a fan of the green. It actually kind of looks like you've got vegetables stuck in your teeth, or like food stuck in your teeth a lot of time. So that's actually one of the colors I would actually tell people to avoid. Now, something other important is that he's only been in braces for 6 months. Okay, now this is important because he's in early wires, which means he's probably not in what we call a power chain. Now, a power chain is the thing that's connected all the way across. Now, you've probably heard me talk about videos about this that say you do not want to change your own power chain. You do not want to do that, because it is an actual prescription device. It's there to close up stuff. If you take it off, it will be a big issue, so don't do that.
Okay, I did say before this video I was not doing green, brown, or yellow, so I think I'm gonna do
nice.
that again.
Dude, does this guy watch my videos? I think he's watched my videos before. That's cool.
Okay, I've taken all the bad colors out, and now I'm gonna choose it randomly.
Okay,
But
so-
I hope I get like a good color, like blue or something. Alright, 3, 2, 1.
That's actually really cool that he I just said that. Okay, pink.
Pink? Oh my goodness, bro.
I actually vibe
You
with
know, I
pink.
guess I
Pink
have to
actually
do
looks
that.
really good.
Okay, so I've got my color, but now I have to take out Okay, I don't
Okay,
know
so
how
he's
to
got
do
a
this,
scaler.
but I guess we'll have a go.
Okay, before he does it, basically what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to kind of wedge it in between the bracket and then kind of scoop around, and then you can pull and tug it off. So let's see what he does. But yeah, don't do that.
Ow, bro, yo. Okay, I need a mirror for this. Guys, I just took one out. You can't even tell from this far, but it was easy. It was easy. Now I need to take the other 9 out. Okay, I've taken the front 4 out, but I heard that if you take them all out, the wire will come out. So I think I'm just gonna apply some of them and then take out the other ones and then apply them. You know.
I'm not gonna lie, that's actually really smart because he's very right. The wire is just held in there by the O ties. So if you take all the O ties off, that wire will just fall out and then it's even harder to get in there. So he's actually, if you are somebody that's gonna change out your own O ties, which isn't I mean, I don't want you to do it because you can break brackets, you can mess with stuff, all that type of things, especially in longer, later wires. But if you had to do it that way because it seems the safest.
So this is the color that's going into my mouth. Pause. But I don't even know how to do it.
Yeah, you gotta.
Guys, look, I think I did it.
Yeah, so what he didn't show you is you need to clip it on the little hemostat on the edge, and then you'll hook one of the 4 prongs and you'll go down, up, down, up. It's like a figure 8 to kind of stretch it on there.
I started filming this video at 8. It's now 9 and I've only done half of it.
Oh my
Alright,
gosh.
chat, I've done the top row, now it's time to do the bottom. Bro, you guys will not believe what I've done. Oh man. Bro, the top row is fine. It's just the bottom row, bro. I messed up so bad.
Of course he messed up. Now he doesn't even tell me how he messed up or what he did wrong, but I'm sure his orthodontist will find out in the future. And for you guys asking, hey Bentist, you told us that you couldn't do this with the newer style brackets. What do you mean? Well, that's because the newer style brackets, which are the ones that I would definitely recommend you're doing, because these ones that he's got is from an older school orthodontist, but they use a new door system, which allows it to be very passive so those teeth can expand and do a lot of good things. But do you notice something special about the newer style brackets? That's right, the O-tie is on the back. So if you tried to take this off, you can't, because it's attached behind the wire, not in front, because it does not need it to hold the wire in. So if you were going to do it with the newer school, you would have to open all the doors, take the wires out, take all the O-ties out, put it back. It would be very difficult and much more likely that you're going to break stuff. So before you go doing anything crazy like this, really make sure you know what bracket system you are, and be careful, because your orthodontist and your parents paid a lot of money to get these things on your mouth, and we're just trying to do the best for you. And so if all you're going to do is ruin it by just taking them off and maybe breaking brackets or messing with wires, you can actually extend your treatment up to like 3 to 6 months sometimes if you just break a bracket, as simply as that. So maybe just avoid it. If you really need it that badly, just go to your orthodontist. He'd probably just put the colors on lickety split in 5 seconds for you if you really absolutely needed to change the color. All right, you guys tagged me in this, said, this is the most amazing way to whiten your teeth. Okay, first off, let's pause it. Let's see what this before and after looks like there. Okay, yeah, obviously that's super white. You know, the first thing that tips me off that maybe I don't, agree with it is the whole AI voices and stuff. He's like, is this just some fake ChatGPT? Is ChatGPT out here giving whitening toothpaste advice now? Let's see.
Easy recipe and make your teeth shine bright like pearls. So save this video before it disappears. To begin, we need banana peel. Remove the inner content of the banana peel. Banana peels whiten teeth and remove yellowing.
Okay, first off, banana peels don't whiten your teeth. I know some people thought it was like the calcium and potassium or something goes in and somehow magically does. No, it does not, guys. You don't need to be rubbing banana peels off, and you don't need to be scraping them off and putting them into whatever fake tooth whitening mixture he's doing here. And in fact, fruit has a thing in it. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called sugar. Fruits actually have sugars in them, which can actually bind and cause all the cavities and problems in your mouth to the bacteria. Feed on it, poop out acid, you get cavities from it. So probably bananas probably isn't the best thing. So I mean, right out the gate, we're coming in hot with something that just doesn't really make a lot of sense. But let's see what else is in this thing.
Put the banana peel content in a bowl. Then we need lemon. Add a teaspoon of lemon juice in it. Then add a teaspoon.
Absolutely not. What is going on here? So obviously we just added sugar and we added acid to it. Those are the 2 things that your teeth absolutely hate. Sugar, which bacteria feed on to cause acid to decay the tooth, and acid, which is acid, does the same exact thing. So what it's going to do is weaken and wear away the enamel, which is not what we want here. So we're really starting off really badly, honestly.
Add a teaspoon of lemon juice in it. Then add a teaspoon of salt. Salt removes bad breath and treats gingivitis.
Okay, now the problem here is that salt actually can do some of these things. That's why we have you rinse with warm warm salt water when you get sick, because it can actually kill the bacteria and do a lot of good stuff there. But the problem is they're using salt as an abrasive here, okay? Salt is kind of like a granular, you know, like sandpaper-ish type thing. You wouldn't just go brushing your teeth with salt, because you would wear away some of your enamel. Now, the problem with this is we are adding sugar from the banana peel, and then we're adding acid, which weakens the enamel. And the enamel rods, enamel tubules will actually degrade and fall and become brittle with acid. And then we're brushing an abrasive salt over it. So really what this is doing is it's weakening and then stripping and wearing away your enamel, which could technically have a whitening effect. Remember, we just talked about the charcoal toothpaste. We could have the same effect, that it will whiten because it's maybe taking away some of the outer layers of stain, but it's going to long-term damage your teeth. So don't do this so far. This is very bad advice.
Please comment "thank you" to support my work and encourage me. Then add a teaspoon of toothpaste. After that, mix the ingredients well.
you just put
Now, how to
toothpaste.
use this recipe. Brush your teeth well with this mixture for 2 minutes.
Okay, now, by the way, toothpaste do have some abrasives still in them. Now, they're a lot less. Now, if you're using a whitening tooth, that's actually one of the reasons why I don't recommend whitening toothpastes, because a lot of the time they don't use hydrogen peroxide. If you do find a whitening toothpaste with no abrasives that has some hydrogen peroxide in it, that's fine. But most whitening toothpaste actually just have a higher RDA, or relative dent and abrasion limit. It's actually, you can go look up the chart of the toothpaste that have the highest RDA. Those are actually the worst for your teeth, because they're basically the closer to sandpaper. You know, it's like the more it rubs off your enamel. So you actually want a low RDA toothpaste, not a high one. So adding more toothpaste to this is going to add more abrasives and more things. Just not a good mixture. And after looking at the comments, you know, at least some of you guys aren't falling for the scam. Somebody said, I tried this and I'm at the dental clinic now. Laugh face. Because yes, I mean, technically, if you do this too much, you will ruin and hurt your enamel. You're probably gonna have tons of sensitivity, and it's just gonna be overall bad for you. And then somebody else said, it works the opposite here. After trying this recipe, all my teeth became yellow. Well, you know, he may be joking around there, but he may not be too far off from the truth, because if you wear off that enamel layer, once again, just like the charcoal toothpaste, if you wear away the enamel layer, the dentin layer shows through, and then your teeth start to look like bananas themselves, and they'll be very sensitive, yellow looking teeth. Well, there you go. I hope that helps, and I hope you learned something new today, and go ahead and maybe watch one of these videos. It sounds like YouTube thinks you might like them. So until now, we also like, follow, subscribe, all this stuff. You know you want to. We're trying to get to 10 million, okay? We got to get to 10 million followers. So if you do see this and you're watching long enough, please subscribe. I love you so much. We'll see you in the next one.